Arctic sea ice has been on a declining trend over the past several decades. The 7 smallest Arctic sea ice minimums have occurred over the last 7 years, and the 14 smallest Arctic sea ice maximums have occurred over the last 14 years. Sea ice is mostly measured by satellites, but during peak melt season, NASA sends out a series of flights to measure the thickness of the ice and depth of the surface melt ponds. This data is cross-referenced to create a model of future Arctic sea ice. These measurements have found that Arctic sea ice is thinner and younger than ever before. So what's causing the ice to change so much, and why is it so important? Well, sea ice reflects solar radiation back into space while oceans absorb it. With warmer temperatures, more ice melts, which allows the ocean to absorb more heat and energy, helping them warm, which also melts more ice. This changes both the ocean current and atmospheric circulations. All of the oceans are connected through a deep ocean current called the thermohaline circulation. Cold, salty Arctic Ocean water is dense and sinks to the bottom of the ocean. Once on the ocean floor, it moves south toward Antarctica to make room for the newer sinking cold water. After reaching Antarctica, it's eventually forced back north and warmed by the sun in the North Pacific Ocean. This solar warming makes the water less dense and it rises toward the surface. This warm water then eventually makes its way back to the Arctic with the help of surface winds, cools down, and the cycle begins again. Since oceans are constantly interacting with the atmosphere, weather systems are also affected. With warmer waters, more water is evaporated, putting more water vapor into the atmosphere and imbalancing the water cycle. This will create an increase in heavier precipitation events and more droughts in already dry areas. An increase in water vapor also means a warmer atmosphere because it's a greenhouse gas and traps escaping heat. Changing sea ice has already greatly impacted sea life and will soon impact us in a greater way too. Whales, seals, walruses, and polar bears all rely on sea ice for shelter, hunting, breeding, and transportation to denning areas. With warmer waters depleting vital nutrients, over 80% of other marine life are being forced to migrate to different areas and change their breeding and feeding patterns, including some of the fish that we rely on for our food. Warmer waters also mean sea levels rise because of thermal expansion. When water warms, its volume increases. In the past 5 years alone, sea levels have risen by 1 inch. Although 1 inch doesn't seem like a lot, for every inch of sea level rise, 50 to 100 inches of beach are lost. It's expected that by 2100, sea levels will have risen another 1 to 4 feet. And with coastal populations increasing, urban flooding, sewer overflows, saltwater contamination in drinking water, and more dramatic storm surges damaging infrastructures will become a greater concern. One way that you can help slow the warming process is by increasing the amount of biking, walking, and public transportation use or carpooling that you do. Not only will that help the environment, but it will save you money, improve your health, and help you take advantage of some nice weather. For Up in the Air, I'm Christy Stewart.